Welcome to the All-State Saturday Kickoff from Oxford, Ohio, where for the first time since 2017, one of the great rivalries in college football returns. An expected sellout crowd of over 22,000 on hand today from Yager Stadium between the Miami Redhawks and the Cincinnati Bearcats for their 128th meeting. By the way, the 127th did not disappoint. A game-winning field goal opportunity at the end of the game for the Cincinnati Bearcats was blocked, sending us to overtime. First possession, Miami gets the ball. It's Brett Gabbert finding Joe Wilkins in the back of the end zone. The Redhawks take the lead. Ensuing possession, interception in the end zone by Yasin McKee, handing the first defeat in the series to Cincinnati in 16 years. Hi again, everybody. Matt Schumacher, Dustin Fox with you. He played in one of the best rivalries in all of American sports, Ohio State, Michigan. But I know you are a big fan of this one. Why?
There's no doubt. Listen, I'm from Ohio. This is a huge rivalry in Southwest Ohio. They played 127 times. You talked about. Sad thing is this could be the last on-campus game they play because of the conference realignment. Listen, this could be a close game. Last year's game went to overtime. I think this game could come down to a kick.
Prediction?
Well, I just think special teams matter.
You heard it here first, folks. As you mentioned, a very old, historic rivalry. It is tied 60, 60, and 7, dating all the way back to December the 8th, 1888. And their only game left on the schedule in this rivalry is set to take place in 2026 at Paycor Stadium. So this could be the very last meeting on a campus site, and it is sold out. Miami won the toss and elected to receive. And here we go for the 128th meeting between Cincinnati and Miami. And it is Kevin Davis being brought down at the 15-yard line. And so we will see Brett Gabbert, the sixth-year senior from St. Louis, Missouri, coming off back-to-back seasons with injuries, but he did play in this rivalry game a season ago. And Dustin, he was phenomenal with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a tremendous player. It was unfortunate what happened to him a season ago, but an opportunity for him to come back here for his 6th season, and a huge opportunity here to win back-to-back victory bells.
Zips it out for the first play of the game. It's Cade McDonald lowering the shoulder, the leading returning wide receiver from a year ago with a pickup of 8.
Nice positive start to the game, picking up almost 9 yards against the secondary. I think is going to be tested today, Matt. I think, you know, you look at Cincinnati, they've got 7 new defensive backs back there. That is an inexperienced group.
48 new scholarship players on the Cincinnati team altogether. Back to McDonald. First down and more out across the 30-yard line. You look at this offense last 2 weeks ago. Coming off the bye, they had a week 1 loss at Northwestern. Dustin, they didn't score a touchdown in that game for an offense that was pretty darn good last year when Brett Gabbert was on the field.
It's just one of those deals where, you know, it's the start of the season. You're on the road playing a Big Ten team. Listen, Northwestern had an excellent defense last year, but again, they've got to do a better job offensively moving the chains and certainly running the football.
Gabbert goes underneath to Javon Tracy, out across midfield. There goes Tracy inside the 30, and he's brought down by Jake Golday. 37-yard reception, and Miami is moving the chains quickly on their opening possession of the game.
You know, Tracy wasn't even the #1 primary receiver here. Secondary receiver catches the football and makes everything happen on this play. Just an unbelievable job of showing speed and agility to break out and come out really the back door.
Was their 3rd wide receiver a season ago. Of course, Miami losing Gage Larvadain to South Carolina. Here is Dylan Downing pushing ahead for 8 yards. We expect to see numerous running backs this afternoon with the season-ending injury to Kenny Tracy, who expected to be their starter this year, out for the year with an ACL, and a rotation of 4 backs for head coach Chuck Martin. Two-time National Coach of the Year and the longest tenured head coach in Miami history sends Keon Mosey into the backfield.
Obviously allowing the defense to substitute. The official runs in, and maybe a timeout here.
First time we've heard from Luke Richmond, our referee today. Chuck Martin, of course, leading Miami to a MAC championship last year. They went 11-3. It was the second MAC championship in the last 5 years. Brett Gabbert helped him win one in 2019 rather. And they did it last year.
Might as well have been 17. He feels like Van Wilder. You know, he's been here forever. We asked him about it on the call this week, which was awesome. Had a chance to sit down with him and talk about his journey. But yeah, I mean, he loves it. In fact, I think he would stay 10 years if he could.
What made it most impressive last year is that you lost Brett Gabbert for the last 6 games of the season, and yet they still won the MAC title. And they've had to replace a number of playmakers on offense this year, but they still feel really good with Brett Gabbert under center. 2nd and 2 after the Cincinnati timeout. Mosey trying to bounce it outside.
Be very close.
Taken out by Jaquan Sanks.
I think they're going to mark him just a little bit shy. And we're talking like 6 inches shy. So here's the deal. 3rd and 1. Gabbert's got a chance here. I think Chuck Martin dials up a shot play because you're going to go for this on 4th down no matter what. I think you take a look outside. Where's Cade McDonald? That's the top guy. That's who Brett Gabbert talked about this week. He loves to get the football in the hands of the Michigan State transfer.
A couple of catches already on this drive. Scott Satterfield, the head coach for Cincinnati, looking on. Play action. Gabbert does take a shot to the end zone, and it's intercepted by Derek Canteen. Big time play by the Bearcats secondary.
You know, honestly, just probably a poor decision by Brett Gabbert. He's hearing it from Chuck Martin right now. He buys himself time, which is a great play as he sort of avoids. He's looking to a target that's double covered, and it's just a dangerous play. You know, cold irons right there, and then a great play by Canteen. And Gabbert is very frustrated. He knows he's got to do a better job. I once had a coach that said, "Don't be a hand clapper."
One of the more frustrating things for Gabbert has to be that that's now his 3rd interception. In the first 2 games, he had 2 against Northwestern. And now Derek Canteen, one of 8 new players in the secondary, gives it back to his offense and Brennan Sorsby. And the first pass is caught by Xavier Henderson, and that moves the chains.
You get a look at the new quarterback here for the Bearcats, Brendan Sorsby. Of course, the transfer from Indiana is off to a great start this season. Matt, we were talking about before the game. What, the #1 QBR in ESPN's rankings?
#1 QBR in the Big 12. And he has the 7th most passing yards in the FBS through 2 weeks. Corey Connor's been pretty good in the ground game. So has Evan Pryor. And this is a team that is still looking for that #2 behind Corey Connor. Evan Pryor can certainly be that, the transfer from Ohio State. Scott Satterfield's team, of course, coming off that devastating loss to Pitt. Led 27-6 with 4:50 to go in the 3rd quarter. And gave up 22 unanswered points, falling by 1 at home last weekend. Here is Kiner, stretching it out across the 40, and Kiner has a 1st down, taken out by Silas Walters after a gain of 12.
You know, this is just the running back here, Corey Kiner, making something happen on his own. Like, really, I think he's supposed to cut inside of Buford 56, but he decides to stretch it all the way outside and shows that vision and really just good instincts to bounce it out and pick up that first down.
He had 20 carries last weekend against Pitt for 149 yards.
But not a lot in the fourth quarter, Matt.
One touch in the fourth quarter. Sorsby with all day. And a miscommunication with his intended receiver, Xavier Henderson. Year 2 for Cincinnati under Scott Satterfield, coming over from Louisville and helped usher this program into the Big 12, not unlike what he did at Appalachian State, taking them from the FCS to the Sun Belt Conference. Had a lot of success doing that. Kiner cutting it back across midfield, still on his feet and taken down by Silas Walters.
Well, this is that stingy Chuck Martin defense that they're known for. Putting themselves in a position to get off the field here, 3rd and 6. And on 3rd down, Kiner's going to come out of the game. They're going to bring in one of their better pass protectors, Evan Pryor, and spread things out. I like number 11, talking about Joe Royer. This guy in the slot.
Sorsby was looking for Royer, and it is broken up by Eli Blakey, and that forces 4th and 6.
Yeah, clearly that play was designed to go to Royer no matter what, or at least he was looking. Sorsby was looking that way the entire time. Tries to force it in. And really good coverage, you know, on the back end by Blakely.
So the first offensive possession for both teams stalls. Mason Fletcher into punt for Cincinnati. And Cade McDonald, the electric punt returner, back deep for the Redhawks. And a whistle comes in first. And it looks like it's going to be a delay of game.
Right for the snap. Delay game. Offense. Number 31.
That sort of helps him out now. Gives you a little bit more room to try and pin him deep. Man, what a great crowd here today, Matt. Fantastic. I've been here many times to Yager Stadium, and this is by far the largest crowd I've ever seen. I've called Cincinnati games here. Rivalry games.
Expected sellout. Fletcher's punt end over end, and that will find the end zone. Brett Gabbert's first possession ended in an interception. Second possession, he hopes, ends differently. Deadlocked at 0. Brett Gabbert leads the offense back out for their second possession of the game in just his second game since October 21st. 2023. He suffered a gruesome leg injury last year against Toledo, and at this moment he told us, I wasn't sure I'd ever play football again. Had surgery, was non-weight bearing for a long time, a 9-month rehabilitation. You know, 6 weeks ahead in January, Dustin. That's when he decided, I'm going to give this thing another go, and now here he is in his 6th season of college football.
Well, a lot of influence obviously from his 2 brothers. That encouraged him to give it one more shot, and here he is. I mean, with an opportunity, is no gain on first down, but I think Gabbert is what sort of epitomizes college football. It's different nowadays because so many guys are about the money and going different places, but Gabbert, you can see those numbers, man. He was the MAC freshman of the year. He's had his injuries. Pretty much you name the body part, he's dealt with an injury. Obviously last year was the really tough one. Had the surgery at the end of the year and had a rod put in. Still has the rod in, by the way. And it's great to see him out here. Really is.
It's been a roller coaster career with all of the injuries. Told us he wasn't sure he wanted to play again. little shake from Dylan Downing. And that makes it 3rd and manageable.
It's a great move. Downing's going to put a really, really good juke on #1 Jordan Young here. The corner's just got to make that play. Sort of bend your knees, and you put your head down, and you can't see what you're going to tackle.
So 3rd and 2 for Chuck Martin's offense, which was the 2nd most efficient offense in the MAC last season, behind only Toledo.
Boy, this is such tight coverage here by Cincinnati.
Downing met in the backfield trying to get some of those yards back, but it was Jonathan Thompson swallowing it up for a loss of 1.
I mean, that's just Cincinnati knowing that Miami's going to try to run the football between the tackles. Sort of run almost like a bear defense. The defensive backs were at 8 yards, and a great job inside. My goodness. Defensive line.
Remember, this defensive line lost Jalen Hunt and Micah Coleman for the year. 2 guys they expected to start, both out for the season with injuries. It's a unit that continues to grow. Low punt by Alec Bevelheimer. Tyron Smith trying to dance out of red jerseys and is stacked up just across the 35. Beautiful day here in Oxford, Ohio, and a sold-out crowd at Yager Stadium for the 128th battle for the Victory Bell.
The Allstate Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. And McDonald's.
The longest non-conference college football rivalry in America, dating back to December 8th, 1888, and it is tied 60, 60, and 7. We won't have a tie today. That means somebody's going to walk out of here with a slight edge in what has become one of the great rivalries in all of college football.
It's such a great rivalry, not only because it's basically dead even, but this game has always mattered for both of these programs. In this game today, both teams have to have it. You know, sitting at 1-1, you look at Cincinnati last week losing to Pitt the way that they did. They're trying to get back on track, and for Miami, they're looking to keep the victory bell back-to-back years.
That's intended for Tyron Smith. Sailed on Sorsby. Oh, to your point, Dustin, they had won 16 straight in this rivalry game going into last year's loss, and the previous 4 were blowouts for the most part. So Cincinnati was feeling really good about last season. Miami comes and wins on the road and really shook it up for Cincinnati fans.
Oh, and that's the deal with Scott Satterfield coming in, losing the first game to Miami. This is year 2. You know how rivalries go. The fans and locals can get a little restless.
Oh, there's a miscommunication. Sorsby turning the wrong way. Was able to maybe get back across the line of scrimmage for a gain of 3. And the tackle by the reigning MAC Defensive Player of the Year, Matt Salopek.
You said it, just a miscommunication in the backfield. I'm not sure exactly who it was on, because you look at the tailback, Kiner, and he goes to the right side, and you look at Sorsby, he turns to hand the ball off to the left. Very good awareness by him to just take off and try to get something.
3rd and 8. Sorsby with pressure finds his receiver across the sticks. It's Xavier Henderson, and the spot is good for a first down.
Well, you had pressure there from Miami's defense. Eli Blakely, the safety, 16, is going to blitz right up the gut. Kind of a late blitz, provides the pressure, but I love how Sorsby just stands in the pocket, knows he's going to take that shot, and an easy throw on the outside.
Blakey coming off 9 tackles in the loss to Northwestern. And another dart, this time Sorsby connecting with Joe Royer, who we have been told is a mismatch problem for most, according to the Cincinnati coaching staff.
There's no question at his size, 6'5", 255, You know, this guy was a stud coming out of high school. Cincinnati Elder just down the road. A powerhouse here in Ohio, not just Southwest Ohio, but Ohio in general. And now they've got him here with Sorsby. I think that Royer is going to have a monster year.
Touchdown he scored against Pitt, the first in his collegiate career. The pitch to Chance Williams. And the Grambling State transfer stepped up after a gain of 1.
I just don't think that Cincinnati is going to have a ton of success unless they get big plays, because Miami is known to not let you go you know, down the field as much as possible. They're sort of as deep as the deepest, wide as the widest, keep everything in front of you, and they've always done a really good job of that. Cincinnati's got to be looking for potentially some mistakes in the back end and try and get some big plays like they did a week ago.
Sorsby, a deep shot for the end zone. Oh, and in and out of the hands of Aaron Turner, and incomplete. Great coverage by Silas Walters, a former walk-on here in Miami.
I don't know, Matt, that Sorsby can throw this ball any better. I thought on the back end he's grabbed a little bit, but right there, I mean, I guess a pretty good play at the end by Silas Walters. But now a huge third down.
10 to go.
Probably 4-down territory. They've got some issues at kicker. So the 35, couple plays, I believe, to pick up the first down.
Sorsby flushed, and a flag is in the backfield around midfield. And we will have to hear from Luke Richmond.
Holding. Offense. Number 53. That penalty declined. 4th down.
4th and 10. You going for it?
Sort of surprised they declined the penalty. Oh, maybe not. They are going to punt. You can see the center, Gerhardt, 53. And just a little turf monster there for Sorsby.
Come up to get you every once in a while.
Been there.
Rather than a punt, they will trot out Nathan Hawks, who is replacing Carter Brown, who missed 2 field goals so far through the first 2 weeks of the season. They had a competition coming into week 3, and Nathan Hawks won it. This is a 55-yard attempt.
It's a bold strategy.
As the leg, what a kick.
It pays
Nathan
off.
Hawks, 55 yards to give Cincinnati a 3-0 lead.
Wow, what a kick. That was good from 60. Dead middle. What a job by Cincinnati there. Thought they were going to have to punt the ball. No, they kicked the field goal. 3-0 early from Oxford.
Coming up later on ABC and ESPN Plus, Texas A&M taking on Florida in the Swamp. Feels like a must-win game early for both teams. 3:30 Eastern. Then at 7:30, number 1 Georgia takes on a Kentucky team trying to rebound from a loss to South Carolina last week. Find live sports with Where to Watch only on the ESPN app. Sold out crowd at Yager Stadium. First time the battle for the victory bell has been played here since 2017, and it's an early 3-0 lead for Cincinnati. After the 55-yard field goal by Nathan Hawks. Kevin Davis will watch it sail over his head. And now the 3rd possession for Brett Gabbert, whose first drive looked really good. Went 6 plays, 62 yards, ended with an interception in the end zone.
Well, I think on the outside they've got a couple playmakers, and you saw Tracy on the opening drive really make a huge play that put them down near the 30-yard line. And then, of course, on 3rd and 1, Gabbert tries to make a play, throws a pick in the middle of the end zone in double coverage. So the 6-year quarterback looking to rebound. The last drive was a great stop by the Bearcats defense, but if they're going to want to stay in this game, they've got to hit some plays down the field.
Ozzie on first down does well to turn nothing into something in a 4-yard gain. Well, we talked about it week 1 against Northwestern, which was 2 weeks ago. Only 6 points scored, no touchdowns. They've had an extra week to prepare for Cincinnati coming off the bye. How do you get Gabbert going a little bit in just his second game since that injury last October?
I think you put him in positions like this. I mean, you spread things out a little bit and try to take advantage of that very young secondary of the Bearcats.
On 2nd and 6, Davis with a loss on the play. It is a Cincinnati defense that is not only new in the secondary, they're new across the defense. 17 new faces on this Cincinnati defense, 2 deep. And they feel better about their depth than they did a year ago.
Matt, they lost their top 4 tacklers from the season ago.
3rd and 7. Gabbert with time, and he connects with Jack Coldiron for a first down.
Now that's a big boy throw by Brett Gabbert. Steps into this thing. It's an about a 15-yard in route by the tight end Coldiron, who they're glad to have back and healthy. And that's just a great throw. I mean, he anticipated the throw, threw it right as Coldiron was breaking.
Missed 12 games last year after the ACL injury suffered in their season opener against Miami, Florida. Three-man rush. Gabbert takes a shot looking for Cade McDonald. Oh, what a grab inside the 20, and Miami is in business yet again. Yards.
This is Gabbert saying, McDonald, go make a play. Like, just throw it up. You got man coverage on the outside, and they spread out the Bearcats defense. And then you get a matchup with Canteen, a safety, on the top wide receiver for Miami. That's an instant throw by Gabbert down the field. Take that shot.
Cade McDonald, the former walk-on at Michigan State. Now the leading returning wide receiver and the top target for Brett Gabbert.
Delay game, offense, number 5, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So the delay of game will back them up 5 yards. But they've now had 2 major chunk throws. 30+ on the opening drive, 43 yards there, and no points yet to show for it with 40 seconds to go in the first quarter.
And that's where they struggled a week ago. They couldn't get points on the board, and this is where Miami's got to be better.
Kevin Davis is popped out across the 20.
It's a great run, but the 5-yard penalty to make it 1st and 15, you're still sitting here 2nd and 9.
Do they want to run another play before the end of the first quarter? Doesn't look like it. So the Cincinnati Bearcats with an early 3-0 lead on their rival Miami in the 128th meeting of the battle for the victory bell. All that separates these two teams, a 55-yard field goal. And the Bearcats lead it heading to the second quarter. Kick off your Week 2 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown crew on ESPN and the ESPN app. They'll have all the early breaking stories, injury updates, previews of each game right up to kickoff. Brett Gabbert back under center. Miami in the red zone to start the second quarter. And Kevin Davis picks up 4 yards.
So again, 3rd down here for Gabbert. And the last time they were down here in the first quarter, Gabbert on 3rd and 1 throws that pick. So an opportunity here on 3rd and about 6. try and redeem himself.
Empty backfield for Gabbert. Davis now joins him in the backfield. Looking end zone for McDonald, and just overshot his receiver. Good coverage on the back end by Logan Wilson.
This is Logan Wilson. 13 is in coverage in the slot. And boy, excellent coverage in the back end. And I like the shot, though. I mean, take an opportunity to try and get the football in the hands of your top target, McDonald, who got him down here.
And now Dom Jobin for a 30-yard field goal attempt to tie it. Deadlocked at 3. So a pair of field goals, one from 55 yards for Cincinnati, and the tying from 30 to start the second quarter by Dom Jobin. Just the second start for Brett Gabbert since that injury in October of 2023, and we're now joined by his older brother Blaine, two-time Super Bowl champ. Appreciate you for joining us in the booth.
Absolutely.
So how's your trip to Oxford been so far?
You know, it's fun. I flew in last night. My wife's due in 2 weeks, so this is the last trip I can make it to for the foreseeable future. And
wife is due in 2 weeks, and she let you come up here for the rivalry game.
I got to make the most of these times because I've been able to watch my brother play in a long time. So we went to Northwestern a couple weeks ago, and then being able to come here in a rivalry game, it's a great environment. You know, he's playing well. He's getting his feet wet still, and you know, I'm a proud older brother. I'm a fan now.
You know, for what he had to go through last year in terms of the injury, and he's had so many injuries throughout his career, but for him to be able to come back, and he talked about how you and your other brother, you know, sort of encouraged him to get back out here and take one more shot at this thing.
You know, the mental fortitude he has, the toughness, mentally and physically, is it's special because you don't know how someone's going to react to such a bad injury like that, right? And just being able to fight through it, pain, mental pain, and just seeing him play 2 weeks ago was, you know, awesome for not only me but my parents, because
absolutely
they're the ones that have to like watch their son kind of go through that. And you know, he's my little brother, so I love him. It's just fun to watch him play.
First down for Brennan Sorsby and the Cincinnati Bearcats after the game-tying field goal. And Sorsby on a dart to Henderson. That is enough for a first down.
What do you think about this Sorsby kid, Blaine?
He's actually good. I think we're giving too much cushion right now. I think our corners are good enough where we got to get hands on them, play a little bumper run. I know they're a quarters-based defense, but just disrupt the timing a little bit. The free access throws are wide open, and we got to disrupt the timing a little bit.
Now I know you're a good big brother because you played at Missouri, but you're saying we when talking about Miami.
I am. I'm blood over anything, and wherever my brother's playing, that's who I'm rooting for.
Corey Kiner is swallowed up. No gain on the play. So last year, obviously a really severe leg injury. Your brother has to get carted off the field. He told us what was going through his mind at that time was, no way this is how my career can end.
Correct.
Walk us through your perspective that day and then the next 9 months that followed.
Well, it was crazy. We were driving. I was actually driving to the hotel. I forget who we were playing that week, but I was in Kansas City, of course. My brother and one of our best friends, Ryan Amplin, they were at the game, and I'm driving to the hotel for meetings, and I got the phone on ESPN Plus watching it. Great pass breakup, by the way.
Good plug for ESPN Plus.
Yeah, and you know, you never want to see anyone go through that. I saw Alex Smith go through that, but much less your brother. So it's tough for everybody, but like I said, he is the toughest dude I know, mentally and physically, and how he's responded. Not many guys come back from that type of injury and the complications that went along with it. And, it's just really fun to see him out there again.
Big third down coming up here, Matty.
Third
and Blaine.
All right, boys, get some hands on, man.
Sorsby on a quick throw.
Rally.
And nothing doing. Tyron Smith is swallowed up for a loss of 4.
Miami defense is playing well today. Ty Wise is a great player. Matt Salopek is Brett's roommate. And, these guys fly to the ball, and they really take pride in what they do on that side of the football. Chuck Martin does a great job with this entire team. And
there's baby brother right there. He's going to pick up the rock when we return from a commercial break.
He's got way better swag than I do.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
Well, you have 2 Super Bowl rings.
I do,
right.
yeah.
I was
very fortunate to get those.
Blaine, we appreciate your time.
Thanks
man.
for having me on.
Congratulations. Enjoy the rest of this game.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, brother.
Blaine Gabbert, older brother of Brett Gabbert, 2-time Super Bowl champ, in the booth with us as Cade McDonald unable to shake loose of this Bearcat special teams unit. So the younger brother, Brett Gabbert, will get the ball when we return. Our Week 2 Monday Night Football matchup features Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson, and the Falcons squaring off against Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and the Eagles. 8 Eastern on ESPN. ESPN Deportes with Peyton and Eli once again on ESPN2. Speaking of the NFL, the cradle of coaches here in Oxford, Sean McVay entering the cradle last year, head coach for the LA Rams. Matt Schumacher, Dustin Fox with you. Deadlocked at 3 through 1 quarter and change, and you told me off air this is generally how rivalry games like this go, a feeling out process in the beginning.
Totally agree. I think teams like this close in proximity, there's some nerves, right? I mean, you know how big this game is to play in, and when I played against Michigan 4 times, I felt the pressure, and it always took a little bit of time to feel the game out. And then all of a sudden, second, third quarter, things start to open up.
Davis with a gain of 5. 3rd and medium for this Miami offense, which returned 7 starters from last year, including, of course, Brett Gabbert. But they do replace their top 2 playmakers. Gage Larvadain now at South Carolina, and Rashad Amos now at Ole Miss. They have found Cade McDonald in the big situation so far in the first half. Can they get it again on 3rd and 4? Gabbert under pressure and just had to let it fly out of bounds. Jared Bartlett, the West Virginia transfer, in his grill, and it forces 4th and 4.
And Bartlett, 7's going to force the pressure. Gabbert's got to get outside the pocket. In comes number 7. And then Gabbert gets up, he's kind of like wincing a little bit with his shoulder, so you hope everything's okay right there. But another big stop by the Bearcats defense, 3 and out.
Bevelheimer has it locked loose, and Cincinnati is on top of it inside the 5. We thought special teams would be huge in this game. It's what Chuck Martin's Miami teams have been known for. But so far in the first half, Cincinnati has made the difference on special teams.
The snap, it's a little off to the left, so it's not perfect, but certainly a snap that should have been caught by Bevelheimer. And again, giving them a taste of their own medicine with the special teams. That's typically, as you said, Matt, an area that they pride themselves in here at Miami. They treat it just like offense and defense. As they always say, they got to win 4th down, right? Well, they lost that 4th down, and they're probably going to give up some points here because of it.
Sorsby into the end zone. Joe Royer, first touchdown of the day, and it comes in the 2nd quarter off a botched punt by the Miami special teams unit and their punter, Alec Bevelheimer.
It's a great call by the Bearcats. Everyone in this building, including myself, thought that Corey Kiner was going to get the football. They fake it to him. You got DBs looking in the backfield. That was Canteen, number 10. It's hard to tell if he was supposed to be matched up with Royer, nonetheless wide open. And didn't need a long drive because the special teams gaff by the Redhawks.
So special teams have been huge in this game already. This muffed punt leads to points for the Bearcats. 10-3 early in Oxford.
One of the great traditions in all of college football, the cradle of coaches here in Oxford, just outside of Yager Stadium. There have been some really good ones come through these parts. John Harbaugh, of course, Bo Schembechler, and Sean McVay entering the cradle last year.
Well, I think at some point you're going to see Chuck Martin out there with these coaches, the longest tenured coach here at Miami. 11 years. I can't believe he's been here that long. Remember when he was in his first year.
And on the flip side, Scott Satterfield in his second season at Cincinnati has to be really pleased with his special teams. Nathan Hawks making a 55-yard field goal, then a muffed punt, leading to a touchdown on the next play inside Miami's own 5-yard line. And again, Miami will not have great field position because of this Bearcats kickoff unit.
They certainly have backed them up now. But I don't think that Miami should be discouraged, Matt. I think their offense, they've moved the football. They've made a couple of chunk plays. The problem has been those third downs when they get in scoring territory. Last time in the red zone, come up with 3. First drive down, stalls out around the 25-yard line and throw a pick in the end zone. So if they can capitalize and execute down in the scoring area, they'll have a chance.
Pitch it to Davis. Well, to your point, Dustin, both of those drives went for 60-plus yards in 6 or 7 plays. It's the finishing of the drives that this Miami offense struggled with against Northwestern, and that has continued early in this one against Cincinnati.
This offense only had 267 yards last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, against Northwestern. Already moving the football much better against the Bearcats in this first half.
Gabbert trying to do it with his legs, and he is brought down by Jared Bartlett, who led the West Virginia Mountaineers in sacks a season ago.
Third and 11. The defensive line for the Bearcats going to sub in a whole new package here for this play. So a fresh pass rush against Blaine Gabbert here in 3rd and 11. Tough spot to be in, deep in your territory.
Five seconds on the play clock.
Confusion and a false start. Or maybe a timeout.
And Chuck Martin did get a timeout call.
Miami, 2nd and a half. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
Well, Dustin, if you're Cincinnati and first-year defensive coordinator Tyson Veit, you have to be pretty pleased with how your defense has shown up here after giving up 22 unanswered points to lose the football game a week ago against Pittsburgh.
I think the one thing they're trying to do, Matt, is simplify the defense. They're changing things up. The 3-3-5 is new for a lot of players here at Cincinnati. And a lot of times when you're thinking, that's where big plays happen. Mistakes happen. So they're trying to install baby steps as they go here. And certainly today they played much better than they did a week ago, certainly in the second half.
3rd and 11. Gabbert with time. And he's got his man in stride out across midfield. Kevin Davis, the running back, making big plays in the pass game, a gain of 35.
Chuck Martin told us Kevin Davis in the pass game, probably the best receiving running back they have, down the seam, and that's just a great throw over top of the Mike linebacker, almost in triple coverage. And what a conversion. 3rd and 11, you're backed up. This certainly gives Miami life here to get back in the ball game.
third play of 35 yards or more by Brett Gabbert. Mosey twists ahead for a gain of 6. Well, you said it, Dustin, early in the game. For Miami's offense to be effective today against Cincinnati, they have to get those big hitters. They have so far in the first half.
Boy, 35 of those, 3 plays of 35 yards or more. Those are called explosive plays. And typically in a game, you want to keep it to 2 max. And already here in the first half, Miami's took some shots down the field and executed.
Gabbert under pressure, and he's brought down in the backfield. A sack by the 3-year starter, Eric Phillips. Loss of 7, and it's now 3rd and long again for this Miami offense.
You'll see the defensive end right here, Eric Phillips, 97. Boy, he just bull rushes the tight end for the Bearcats. That's Preston Daniel, one of the backups in there. And now again, can they convert another 3rd and 11 as they did moments ago?
Screen blown up by this Cincinnati Bearcats defense. Back-to-back losses. And that was Simeon Coleman, the freshman from Maryland, making the play.
And that's really just a 3-man rush. Kind of the perfect defense to call against a screen. And great discipline there by Coleman.
Remember the last time the punt unit came out, Alec Bevelheimer muffed the snap, and it resulted in a Cincinnati touchdown. Gets this one away cleanly. And it takes a friendly hop down inside the 5 by Silas Walters. 43-yard punt. Great field position for the Miami defense on a gorgeous day in Oxford. Welcome back to the Allstate Saturday kickoff from Yager Stadium in Oxford, Ohio. A 10-3 lead for the Cincinnati Bearcats, and coming up later on ABC and ESPN Plus, Texas A&M and Florida from the Swamp at 3:30 Eastern, followed by #1 Georgia and Kentucky at 7:30. Sorsby from deep inside his own territory. And a quick first down to Xavier Henderson. How many times have we seen them link up on first down for a chunk play in this first half?
No, that's been huge. Take a look on the outside. Where's number 8? To have guys like Royer at the tight end position, you know, you got Henderson, you got Mays, you got some of these other dudes who've come on this year, including all the backs that you have. I mean, there are a plethora of weapons here for Sorsby, who is, you know, having a tremendous start to his sophomore season.
Kiner lowering the boom. A downhill runner, finally tackled by Silas Walters. This is a guy, Dustin, that's averaged nearly 7.5 yards per carry through the first 2 games of the season.
With that average and the way he runs the football, like I really do believe that he should be getting 25 to 30 carries a game. And in a day like today, I would ride the stud horse at running back, so to speak, because he's that talented.
2nd and 2. Sorsby is swallowed up but carried the pile, enough for a first down.
Boy, gotta love that toughness from Sorsby. Coaches talk all the time about quarterbacks who can take off and run, and like right there, he does just enough. He fights for those extra 2 yards at the end to pick up the first down. Not a lot of guys will do this, and you gotta love the toughness right there to run through 2 tackles.
Won the quarterback battle with Brady Lichtenberg, who was the backup last year, in part because of that mobility.
Ooh, Salopek comes in there. Nice spin by Kiner, but he runs into one of the top linebackers, not just in the Mid-American Conference, but in the nation. I mean, this guy has been everywhere for so many years. The heart and soul, you would say, not just of the defense, but of the team.
Sorsby under pressure. Somehow gets it out. Far sideline and caught by Tony Johnson, the Florida Atlantic transfer. 9 yards and another first down.
Sorsby, kind of a magician here, steps up. Looks like he may be swallowed up or take off and run, and just somehow buys himself a little more time, and on the outside finds Johnson for the first down. Those are the plays that are so vital in games like this. To be able to make something out of nothing, extend the play. Terrific job by Sorsby.
He has been exceptional this year. 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. And another quick one out to Sterling Burkhalter. A yard shy of the sticks. No, they're going to give him the first down. This drive started inside the 5-yard line, now at midfield for Cincinnati. Back to Burkhalter, makes the catch. And with the 2-minute timeout looming, this Cincinnati team is churning up clock here. And remember, they get the ball to start the second half.
They've already amassed almost 50+ yards on this drive, as you said. And I thought it was a tremendous job by Miami to pin the Bearcats deep, just knowing how good their defense is. But this is a very promising drive before that 2-minute timeout.
Chance Williams slips underneath 2 tacklers right at the line to gain. And that might just take us to the 2-minute timeout. Indeed it will. Cincinnati driving under the guidance of Brennan Sorsby, who has been statistically the top quarterback in the Big 12 through 2 weeks. Bearcats with a 7-point lead. Let's take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Goodyear. #1 Georgia at Kentucky later on tonight on ABC and the Plus. Bama at Wisconsin right now leading 14-3. Missouri trailing Boston College 7-3. Early top 10 ranking for the Tigers. And 3rd and short for Cincinnati. Couldn't go anywhere else than Corey Kiner.
No, you really couldn't. 3rd and 1. I thought maybe you'd take a shot because you'd probably go for it on 4th and short. But nonetheless, you give it to the football player who's averaging 7 yards a carry, and that's Corey Kiner.
And now this drive has spanned 10 plays in over 4.5 minutes for Scott Satterfield and the Cincinnati offense. Maybe their best drive of the game so far.
No, I think definitely it is. I mean, you've been so balanced with this drive, and I think, you know, Sorsby has kept the drive alive multiple times.
Back to Kiner, met right at the line of scrimmage by Jackson Kuwatch. No, check that. It was Oscar McWood making the tackle.
Boy, McWood got in there in a hurry. You'll see 23 right in the backfield here. Untouched off the left side.
Sorsby, dart is knocked away by Rayon Strader, the reigning freshman All-American, and the intended receiver Joe Royer.
All right, so here's a huge play, Matt. 3rd and 10, and we go back and look at the breakup. You know, Strader's been picked on a little bit today. Had a great freshman year, as you said, Matt, but right there, a nice hook and swat coming across the middle and forcing a 3rd and 10. And this could be, I mean, I think possessions maybe in this game could be at a premium. This would be a huge stop for the Red Hawks.
Sorsby's got a first down. Tyron Smith coming across midfield, and a pickup of 13 to extend the drive.
Now you can see the protection here for Sorsby. I mean, he's able to sit there almost all day and deliver the strike right across the middle to Smith.
This one is out to Jamoy Mays, and he gets out of bounds. 42 seconds left in the first half. Cincinnati's offense in total control here. And all 3 timeouts to work with. And Scott Satterfield's going to use one of them.
Timeout, Cincinnati. First and a half. Be a 30-second timeout.
What's impressed you most, Dustin, about this drive for Cincinnati?
Well, I think number one, they have been able to convert on third down. You know, they've done a really nice job. Miami's had them in, third and long several times, but since he's done such a great job, they're 4 of 7 today, Matt, on third down, which, you get up near 50%. You're going to win football games.
Some of those were third and long.
Absolutely.
Or third and 10. This would be a huge stop for Miami's defense to force a field goal attempt here. After a 13-play, 73-yard drive spanning over 5.5 minutes. Remember, this started inside the 5 for Brennan Sorsby in Cincinnati.
Now, there are a couple things in play right now, and that is with a drive this long, if you don't score a touchdown, it's sort of frustrating for the Bearcats and maybe even a win for Miami's defense. We'll see.
2nd and 5. Oh, what a catch inside, just outside rather, the 10 by the leading receiver from a year ago, Xavier Henderson. They go back that way, and Sorsby sails it.
This is one of those plays where you want to go to your top target, Henderson there on the outside, just take a shot. But the Bearcats have really struggled so far this season, just in terms of the red zone. They've got to score touchdowns. You got to come away with 6 points when you get down here.
Scored a touchdown on 3 of their 5 red zone trips against Pittsburgh. The other 2 resulted in a field goal and a missed field goal. Joe Royer in the backfield with Corey Kiner. Play action. Pressure. Royer makes the catch. Still on his feet. Royer fighting for the end zone, and it's a touchdown. How do you do? His 2nd of the game.
Chuck Martin is beside himself. And there's some conversation because the football did come out, Matt. And it was so hard to see from our vantage point down in that right corner by the pylon. Take a look at this one. Just breaks a bunch of tackles. Oh, boy.
Now, did it go out? It did.
The question is, Matt, he did have possession of the ball, but did it cross the line to gain?
Could this be a touchback here?
Well, it would be a
Miami ball.
No, it would be a touchback, Matt. And it's a great point by you that the ball did go out of the end zone here. But here's the thing. They ruled this a touchdown on the field. And from that look, it's really tough to know if the ball crossed the plane. This would be one of your better views. I don't know, partner. Let's take a look.
I think this is a touchback.
I think he lost it. I think he lost it at the end. Kobe Hilton's the one, 96, that slaps the ball out at the last second. And
The ball prior to the goal line. The ball rolled out of bounds in the end zone. My rule, it's a touchback. The first down, Miami, Ohio.
Matt, I think we can look back potentially in the second half if Miami's able to get back in the game. Only down to 7 points. That's doable. But 17 would be a tremendous hurdle to overcome in the second half.
Dustin, you just said it coming out of that timeout. You go 13 plays, 70-plus yards, and you only get a field goal. It's probably very frustrating.
It's deflating.
How frustrating is it now you don't get any points at the end of the first half?
It's totally deflating for a team that looked like, You know, if they go up 17-3, I don't know that Miami's able to come back from that with all the confidence that the Bearcats, you know, gained with that drive.
Whew, what a win for this Miami team, who will kneel on it to end the first half. So we've had 2 fumbles right around the goal line. A Miami botched snap on a punt, resulting in a touchdown throw to Joe Royer. Royer thought he had his second touchdown stripped away by Kobe Hilton. And it's a 7-point deficit for Miami. Cincinnati will get the football to start the second half in the 128th edition of the Battle for the Victory Bell, being played in Oxford for the first time since 2017. Welcome back to the All-State Saturday kickoff from a gorgeous Oxford, Ohio, one of the gems of the Midwest. And we have had an exciting game so far through one half. It's a 10-3 lead for the Cincinnati Bearcats in the 128th edition of the Victory Bell. Matt Schumacher, Dustin Fox with you. Special teams were the story in the first half. You thought they might be in this game.
Well, I did. Chuck Martin always talks about you've got to win fourth down. So far in the first half, they've not won fourth down. Cincinnati has. But boy, this game has sort of had everything. It's a rivalry game. We've had 3 turnovers. We've had, you know, drives that have stalled. But the special teams I talked about, this is the area that has been the factor for this entire game. That's the longest kick in Big 12 this season. Right there.
55 yards.
55-yarder. Could have been good from like 70. Goodness gracious. And then this is just on Bevelheimer. To fumble that snap, it's recovered by Cincinnati. 7 points, basically right there. They could have just ran that in the end zone had they scooped and scored it. Nonetheless, Royer gets in the house. And that's our points. 10-3, all special teams at this point. Stats are honestly pretty even. The only difference is that Cincinnati has 12 first downs. The last drive before halftime, what, 95 yards they go, but they fumble out of the end zone. We'll show you that play here momentarily, but that's been the ballgame. That's the summary.
Cincinnati will get the ball to start the second half. Longest non-conference college football rivalry in America, dating back to 1888. And to your point, at the end of the first half, a 16 play, 95-yard drive ends with this. Joe Royer, great catch, makes 3 men miss, and Kobe Hilton knocks it out of the back of the end zone for a touchback, and no points for Cincinnati.
Matt initially rolled a touchdown on the field. So, I mean, the scoreboard said 16 points. They had to take the points off the board, and they get nothing. And not only that, think about this. They get the ball here. So they score their 17-0. And the football to potentially make it 24-3. Excuse me, 3 points for the Redhawks, but the Redhawks are still in it. They're just down a touchdown. Your defense has played great. They've allowed no explosive plays over 20 yards, and a drive like that can be demoralizing for an offense, especially on the road.
Amazing to think Cincinnati's offense 12 first downs, Miami's 5, and yet this is a 1-score game. Brennan Sorsby on the handoff to Corey Kiner. And you said at halftime you expect to see more of that. He only had 7 touches in the first half. This is a young man averaging 7.5 yards per carry this season.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect to see more rushes by Kiner. He's averaging still in this game almost 5 yards. I don't know, it just seems like a ball control type of game so far, and to me, this is a game where you could really ride Kiner to the victory, I think.
Pressure comes on second down, and it's a great catch by Xavier Henderson to extend the drive.
Kiner, we just talked about how great he is, Matt, in terms of his ability to run the football. How about this block? The pass protection. That's Salopek, one of the best linebackers in the country. And it's picked up beautifully by Kiner, allowing him to buy extra time to find Henderson against cover 2, right in that little turkey hole. That's a tough throw.
Xavier Henderson now 7 catches for 76 yards. Their leading receiver a season ago. Kiner Pryor with a gaping hole on first down. And another chunk yardage play, 16 on the game.
They are moving the ball. There's no doubt about it here. The Bearcats have moved the football. But the Miami defense is like a bend but don't break type of defense. So we'll see if they can sort of bow up here again on this drive.
They ranked 34th in the country last year in rushing defense and top 10 in scoring D, allowing less than 16 points per game. Evan Pryor,
boy,
on first down.
Matt, had an unbelievable rush here to maybe make this tackle in the backfield for a huge loss. But because of the great anticipation and agility here of Evan Pryor to sort of cut to the left, see Salopek 15 comes right in there. And a great job by Pryor.
Third down coming for Cincinnati. And remember, on their last drive of the first half, they completed 2 third-down conversions as part of 7 first downs on the final drive of the first half. 3rd and 3 here.
Confusion here by the Miami secondary and linebackers. They're not even set.
And Sorsby takes advantage.
What great awareness by Sorsby. The defense of Miami had no clue, and they were all standing around looking at the sidelines, and Sorsby says, I'm going to take advantage of this and take off and go to pick up the 3 yards in the first down.
Well, we talked about it in the first half. There was a quarterback battle at Cincinnati in the offseason. Brady Lichtenberg, Brennan Sorsby. Sorsby winning that battle in part because of that playmaking ability, which has been on display this afternoon. And a whistle comes in before the snap.
Right to the snap, full start, offense, number 56, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Our referee this afternoon, Luke Richmond. First penalty of the second half. And it's on DeAndre Buford. Just the second penalty of the game on the Bearcats.
It's an interesting formation here. On the outside, Tony Johnson, bottom of the screen, split out so wide.
Fake it to Kiner. And they were looking for Joe Royer.
Salopek there again. You can see the discipline with Salopek there in coverage on the top tight end, Joe Royer. An excellent play design, but you're not going to fool Salopek.
The reigning MAC Defensive Player of the Year. That's a fun little matchup.
And honestly, I mean, he could win it again.
Nobody ever in the history of Miami football has recorded 4 straight seasons of 100 tackles or more. That is what Matt Salopek is trying to accomplish this year. Empty set on 2nd and 15. Screen to Henderson. And just sifted his way in a whole bunch of traffic there for a gain of 9. 3rd and much more manageable after a 2nd and 15.
I just feel like, Matt, the way the first half ended and the way that they've moved the ball on this drive, if they can't get a touchdown, that's a huge win for the Miami defense, but they got to stop them on 3rd and 6 right now. And you got a flag. Bearcats are pointing at Miami.
Well, there was movement on that Miami front with the clap. Now the question is, did that result in the false start?
Offside, defense, number 12, entering the neutral zone, causing the offensive player to react. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So instead of 3rd and 6, it's now 3rd and 1 for the Bearcats.
You can see Miami's defense is trying to get set up. And right there in the middle, Corbin Hondru.
Third and 1. And the carry goes to Victor Dawson right at the line to gain.
He's short. 4th down, decision time for the Bearcats here.
Do you go for it?
Yes. Not even a hesitation.
Their kicker, Nathan Hawks, hit a 55-yarder in the first half. Longest in the Big 12 this season, but no decision here from Scott Satterfield. Leaves his offense on.
Not Dawson this time. You got 21 in the ball game.
Corey Kiner in the backfield with Sorsby. Sorsby keeps, and he's got enough for a first down.
Well, Sorsby takes a shot at the end of this play. But again, this is the second time that Sorsby has shown this toughness. And he rides, Kiner right into Corbin Hondru again.
Two very long drives here.
Say, look at the clock, just chewing away almost 7 minutes.
16 plays at the end of the first half resulted in no points. This is the 11th play of the drive to start the second half. Sorsby to Johnson, and he stopped just shy of the end zone.
You see Henderson, he's going to run outside and then kind of stick his foot in the ground here and come right back inside. It's a pivot route. So it confuses the cornerback, especially if the corner's got his eyes in the backfield, and then he peeks back outside. Great design. Nearly results in a touchdown. And what are we doing here, partner? You're giving the ball to 21.
Ball on the 1. I formation.
Look how tight they are.
One wide
Fullback's
receiver.
like a yard behind the quarterback.
Kiner is into the end zone for a touchdown. It was tight, but the late signal comes in from the line judge on the far sideline. And Cincinnati does hit pay dirt on a long drive to start the second half.
You can see Kiner here. The fullback is about 2 yards behind Sorsby. He just rides the fullback and Tinsley right into the end zone. That's your left guard, 54. But look at the numbers. 7 minutes and 22 seconds. 12 plays. The thing about this is, these long drives are going to make it very difficult for the Miami offense to get back in the game. We're down 14 points here after this PAT. Man, time is of the essence.
Well, they will review the touchdown and go to our replay official, Marcus Marsden. And the referee, Luke Richmond, will put on the headset. This is what they are seeing in the replay booth. And from that angle, there's not enough there to overturn the call on the field, which is a touchdown.
Oh, no, and the line judge is right there. I mean, he's coming in from the left side, the right side as you're viewing it, and it has the best angle. We don't have a pylon cam to look down the line, so I don't think this could be overturned. But I'm not the smartest guy.
That was, if it stands, Corey Kiner's 3rd touchdown against Miami in as many years. And he got the ball numerous times on that 7.5-minute drive, eating up almost half of the 3rd quarter.
At the first review, the ruling on the field of touchdown stands.
Stands, not confirmed. So obviously you're going to go by what the official said on the field, who had a great view of it, and probably not enough looks to piece together where the football is.
Nathan Hawks makes it a 17-3 lead for Cincinnati. Can Miami respond in their first possession of the second half? We'll find out from Oxford next. Here are the featured games on ESPN Plus tonight. Virginia Tech, Old Dominion. You don't want to miss that one. NC Central and North Carolina at 6. And Vandy, Georgia State at 7 Eastern. To get ESPN Plus, go to espnplus.com or download the ESPN app. That is what these two teams, separated by 35 miles, are playing for this afternoon. The battle for the victory bell since 1888, the longest non-conference college football rivalry in the country. And now, Dustin Fox, finally, Miami's offense will take the field. It has been a long time, minus that kneel down at the end of the half, since Brett Gabbert has been out there throwing passes.
It's been an hour of real time since Gabbert has taken a real snap of offense. So listen, with the 7.5 minutes remaining, time for Gabbert to put the big boy pants on here. Gonna have to throw the football, gonna have to pick up some chunk plays to get back in the ballgame.
Quickly out to Cade McDonald. Well, they have had some chunk plays in this game. 3, in fact, of 35 yards or more in the first half, and that is a first down on the first pass of the second half for Brett Gabbert.
Well, I like the idea of getting the ball in McDonald's hands immediately. They took a shot deep with McDonald earlier in the game. If they get man coverage matched up on McDonald on the outside, I would start to just throw the ball deep and take a couple of shots. Almost a offsides penalty there.
Less than 10 to go on the play clock. Gabbert. That is man, but out of bounds. He was looking for Andre Johnson. And Marquez Parker with the quarterback pressure.
I actually think that's a really smart play by Gabbert. He's got pressure in his face. He's rolling to his left as a right-handed quarterback, so it's a difficult throw. And just throws it out of bounds. Take another snap.
Quickly again out to McDonald. He stepped out of bounds. Logan Wilson with the tackle, just a 2-yard gain, and now 3rd and long, which this offense saw a lot of, particularly in the second quarter. And credit to this Cincinnati defense with 17 newcomers on the 2 deep, holding Miami just to a field goal in the first half.
Got to be an offsides.
On Eric Phillips, trying to time the snap.
Offside, defense, number 97, on the base to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
From 3rd and 7 to 3rd and 3. The ball inches closer towards midfield for a Miami offense that's still looking for its first touchdown in 2024, coming off that 13-6 loss to Northwestern in week 1.
Well, now with the penalty, this certainly makes it a situation where you would go for it, I believe, on 4th down, especially with the way that the Bearcats have held the football.
Play action. Deep shot for Gabbert.
Got him.
And it's a catch. Reggie Virgil taking it all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Redhawks. First touchdown of the year for Reggie Virgil, goes 58 yards.
you've got both receivers here running a deep route. But here, right in the slot, and you got to slip. Kalen Carroll, the old Sean Springs. I know that one very well. The slip, but a huge 3 plays, 75 yards. That is how Miami gets back in the game.
That is now 4 plays for Brett Gabbert, going 35 yards or more, and right back in it come the Redhawks with this deep shot on 3rd and 3. 58 yards to the house. We got a ball game in Oxford.
The All-State Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Jeep. There's only one.
One of the great rivalries in college football that maybe flies under the radar every year. You got the backyard brawl also going on today, the battle for the Apple Cup. But this has been going on now for 100+ years. Since 1988, they have played. And this, I beg your pardon, 1888. Thank you, Dustin. And this is the 128th meeting, second most behind only Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Boy, that is pretty incredible that they played that long. And it is sort of sad to think about them not playing in the future. I know both schools would love to continue the rivalry, but it just sort of stinks that college football is in a position now where the rivalries, the big ones, are certainly in jeopardy because of conference realignment.
Over the summer, Miami canceled their next 2 trips to Nippert, and in response, Cincinnati canceled their next 2 trips here to Oxford. So this could be the final on-campus meeting between these 2 teams. And Bill Breakin, the wizard defensive coordinator for this Miami defense, which ranked top 10 in the country last year, looking on. His defense has been on the field a lot over the last hour, Dustin.
Yeah, that scoring defense last year was incredible. I think that they're going to be poised for a very similar type of year. And I'll say this much. I mean, this defense was on the field for an hour straight of real time.
Run goes up the middle on a couple of misdirection fakes. It's Corey Kiner tackled by Oscar McWood.
And to that point, you know, being a former defensive player myself, you know, we played on some really good defenses at Ohio State with offenses that were okay, but they didn't put up big points, right? And so when your offense is able to have an explosive chunk play touchdown like that, 75 yards, it gives the defense motivation to get your butts back out there and continue to fight.
Sorsby off the play fake finds Xavier Henderson, his favorite target in the first half. Now 9 catches and nearly 100 yards receiving for Xavier Henderson.
Henderson having himself a day. Secondary of Miami really having fits, but you can see most of the catches by Henderson, I think, are sort of in front of the defensive backs of Miami, which means they're just going to give Cincinnati certain cushion, and the Bearcats are fine with taking advantage of it.
Eli Blakey is down in the Miami secondary, and as he is being tended to by the training staff, we will step aside. It is a 7-point game in the battle for the victory bell.
Welcome back to the All-State Saturday Kickoff, 17:10 here from Oxford. Hey, coming up later on ABC and ESPN Plus, Texas A&M takes on the Gators in the Swamp at 3:30 Eastern. Then at 7:30, #1 Georgia takes on the Wildcats of Kentucky. You can find live sports with the Where to Watch only on the ESPN app and ESPN.com. The ultimate guide to live sports.
Oh, Kiner spinning out of trouble. He is so shifty. And still, this year, Dustin has not had a rush for negative yardage.
Is that good?
I think that's pretty good. Now we're into week 3, and these drives just continue to churn clock for Cincinnati. Their last 2 drives, 12 plays or more for 6 minutes or more.
Well, and I think that Scott Satterfield's realizing this could be the recipe to win this ballgame. Keep away.
Second and 4. Sorsby finding Henderson, but it's off his hands.
Just a little behind Henderson. I think really for the first time today, that's the one errant throw Sorsby has had. It's a quick slant.
Timeout for an injury.
And there is a Bearcat down on the far sideline as the officials take a timeout. That's to your point. Sorsby this afternoon, 20 for 29, 174 yards and a touchdown. And it is D'Artagnan Tinsley of the offensive line for Cincinnati walking off gingerly but under his own power.
You know, Matt, to your point about the Bearcats offense, you know, honestly, this game, without that muffed snap by Miami that Cincinnati recovered at the 3-yard line, and then, of course, the next play running in for a touchdown, it's going to be a tie game.
Jonathan Harder comes in at left guard for D'Artagnan Tinsley. 3rd and 4. Sorsby with time. Oh, and he makes a great throw for a first down. Dancing out of pressure. And now Xavier Henderson has up over 100 yards receiving this afternoon.
The presence by Sorsby is just remarkable. And if you're Miami, you got to find a way to get Sorsby on the ground. It's like everyone's just sort of hesitant to go make a play. And that continues the struggles of the defensive front of Miami. Last week against Northwestern, didn't have a sack. Really struggling today to get pressure on Sorsby. And right there, another huge 3rd down conversion. And also it keeps the clock ticking.
1 sack against this excellent front 5 of Cincinnati. Deep shot and a duck as Sorsby was hit right on cue by Brian Ugu, the leading returner in tackles for a loss from last season.
Yeah, Ugu's a monster, 6'3", 250. I thought he got a little close to the face of Sorsby from our vantage point up here. They don't call it. Yeah, that's a penalty, I think. He got away with it.
Hey, you're the defensive guy. If you say it's a penalty on the defense, I'm going to trust your opinion.
I try to be as neutral as I can be, but it happens at times where I tend to side with the defense.
Sorsby almost intercepted as Royer went to the turf. It was Salopek on the coverage, and what a battle that has been this afternoon. Salopek's
everywhere. You know, he's a little undersized, but this guy's just a winner. I mean, goes back to high school. Won a state championship at Hoban in Akron, where I'm from, 4 times. How about that?
Third and 10. Royer goes down again, and no flags.
I think Royer just may have slipped here, Matt, coming out of his break. There was a little bit of contact on the outside by Yarborough, excuse me. What do you think? Think he slipped?
Well, Brennan Sorsby didn't think so. He thought there was contact there. He was heated.
I mean, there was a little contact at the top of the route. But part of me thinks, in just watching that replay, that Royer kind of drew the contact.
Punt from Mason Fletcher. End over end. McDonald will let it bounce. And it takes a Miami hop to about the 10. ESPN supports the College Football Playoff Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers Week each year to celebrate great teachers across the country who have inspired so many of us. Nominate a great teacher in your community by visiting cfp-foundation.org.
Matt, how different would this game be if Cincinnati would have scored on that last possession before halftime?
Or if Miami hadn't muffed the punt snap, which led to the only Cincinnati touchdown.
Great point.
Keon Mosey stacked up by Jared Bartlett. The big thing for Miami's offense has been the explosive plays. Brett Gabbert, 4 plays of 35 yards or more, including the only touchdown of the day for Miami, which went for 58 yards to Reggie Virgil. Can they dial it up again and tie this game late in the third? Gabbert, deep shot. Contact was there, but no flags. Reggie Virgil, the intended receiver. Jordan Young, his second-year Florida State transfer, in coverage.
And that's a tough matchup. Jordan Young, number 1, the corner, is matched up on the outside. It's corners coverage, but it basically becomes man principles down the field. And Young has really stepped up this year. Been probably the best cover corner that they have. Playing really steady football right now.
3rd and 9 for Brett Gabbert. Deep shot. Oh, what a catch, but knocked out. Better defensive effort in the secondary from this Cincinnati defense. Trevon Gola-Collardy, who has played very few snaps, the transfer from Southern Utah, coming up and making the stop.
This is what you talk about, playing through the downs. Okay, when you see the wide receiver go up there to try and make a play, he catches the ball.
That's great special teams by the reigning National Special Teams Player of the Year finalist Silas Walters, who also plays in the secondary. Man, what a stop by Trey Gola-Collardy. We've not called his name all game. Makes the biggest play defensively of the game, perhaps, so far for Cincinnati.
And he's not even on our 2 deep. What a play. What a play.
That was in the hands of Reggie Virgil, and going to the turf, knocked out. So Brennan Sorsby will get another crack at it. And with Corey Kiner in the backfield, the way Cincinnati has moved the ball, they have been methodical. It goes to Kiner. Scott Satterfield's team lost the victory bell for the first time in 16 years a season ago. His first year as the head coach at UC, trying to win it back on perhaps the final matchup on a campus site. Great pressure sending Sorsby to the turf, and again it was Brian Ugu in the backfield. 3rd and 9.
Well, this is not where Cincinnati would like to be. However, they've been so good on 3rd downs today. Even 3rd and long. Last couple of drives by the Bearcats, they were converting. So here we go, 3rd and 9.
Sorsby is swallowed up in the backfield. Second sack of the day, and it's Corey Suttle coming off double shoulder surgery, making the stop for the Redhawks defense.
Well, just talked about it on an earlier play during this drive. The Miami defense has to find a way to sack the quarterback. No sacks last week, 2 today, and here's a great one. Continuing to fight and get home. You've got to collapse the pocket and allow your defenders to get there, and that's just great team defense by the Redhawks. And to get off the field, you got to be thinking to yourself, man, how big is that as we go to the 4th quarter?
What a stop. Both defenses standing tall on 3rd and long. We head to the 4th quarter with a 7-point game in the 128th meeting of the battle for the victory bell. Great finish setting up here in Oxford. Welcome back to the Allstate Saturday Kickoff. What a game in the 128th meeting of the battle for the victory bell. One score separates these two teams heading into the fourth quarter. And our Fansville college football update brought to you by Dr. Pepper. South Carolina leading number 16 LSU. And Oklahoma State in a battle with Tulsa on the road. 42-yard punt will set up the first possession of the fourth quarter for Brett Gabbert, who is the subject of today's best moment, brought to you by AT&T 5G. The first touchdown of the season for the Redhawks. 58 yards to the house to Reggie Virgil, who has exploded onto the scene. After he had only 2 catches his first 2 years on campus, he had 3 in the loss to Northwestern as a touchdown catch this afternoon.
And Matt, what did Chuck Martin tell us this week about about Reggie Virgil? He said his time is now. Like, he is ready to go. He's taken on a much bigger leadership role, and that play right there is only going to give the young man confidence here going into the rest of the year.
Gabbert
Just got to get rid of it.
buying time. Does get rid of it. Almost intercepted. He was looking for Andre Johnson, and there was Trey Golicollardy again.
Who is this kid? Boy, he's really made a couple of big plays here. Nearly comes up with the football. I think Gabbert's got to throw this away. This is him trying to make a play. He sees his wide receiver McDonald coming across the field, but just sort of airmails that.
Well, Trey Golicollardy coming over from Southern Utah out of the FCS level, making 2 great plays defensively late in this game as Keon Mosey is snuffed out by, guess who? Trey Golicollardy.
How about that? I think he's going to buy himself a little more playing time this year. It's amazing that if you rush for 7 yards and you're only down 7 points, it's pretty incredible.
Third and 10. Gabbert stepping out of pressure and is brought down. Eric Phillips, second sack of the game, and it's a loss of 3.
Phillips, the 5th-year senior from Cincinnati, went to high school again, another parochial school, Coleraine. See 97 coming off the right side, the left side of your screen. And boy, does he put the speed on Will Jados, the left tackle.
End over end punt, hits at the 45 and takes a big Miami hop. And so Brennan Sorsby and the offense will get it at their own 35 with a 7-point lead. 13 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. So defending her flyweight belt against Valina Shevchenko for the 3rd time. The main card begins at 10 Eastern on pay-per-view. Cincinnati with the football and a 7-point lead, trying to avenge their overtime loss last year to Miami at Nippert. Evan Pryor breaking a big run inside the 30. There goes Pryor to the end zone. Touchdown Bearcats. 65 yards. And the first points in the fourth quarter this season for Cincinnati. Whoa.
Shows that speed, but gets a phenomenal block down the field that springs him about the 25-yard line. After all those long drives, how about just one play in 13 seconds? They had the ball for an hour of real time from the second quarter to third quarter. That one,
13 seconds. And the Bearcats' first points of the fourth quarter this year come on that run from Evan Pryor to the house, 24-10.
The Allstate Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. And McDonald's.
Wow. 68-yard touchdown to the house for Scott Satterfield's backup running back, Evan Pryor. And for the first time this year, Cincinnati's offense has points in the fourth quarter, and it gives them a 2-touchdown cushion.
and a pretty big advantage now for the Bearcats, as Miami, with 13 minutes to go, they could certainly get back in the game. But Brett Gabbert, Blaine was in the studio with us earlier. But yeah, I mean, they've got to have some magic here offensively. Matt, they've scored 1 touchdown this year, and that came just the previous possession, but didn't score a touchdown against Northwestern in week 1. Now they're down 2 scores.
So if you're this offense, Chuck Martin, Pat Welsh, Brett Gabbert, what are you throwing at Cincinnati with 13 minutes left in the game and a 2-touchdown deficit?
I would be looking on the outside to number 0, Virgil, who's really come on, had the last really long touchdown reception for the Red Hawks, and then also Cade McDonald, who also made a big play earlier in the game. But those guys have to get involved, and really, you've got to have chunk plays. They've had 4+ plays over, or 5+ plays over 35 yards or more already.
Gabbert, long throw, does find Andre Johnson for 7 yards.
And a 40-yard pass to gain 7. But you'll take it.
A reminder, Texas A&M, Florida coming up at 3:30 Eastern on ABC.
Oh, you want to talk about all those big games? How about App State ECU?
Scott Satterfield
yeah.
Field might have that game on the way back to Cincinnati.
Just going to say it.
2nd and 3. And a first down catch is made by Dylan Downing. Miami seeking back-to-back wins in this rivalry game for the first time since 2002-2003, when Ben Roethlisberger was under center.
It's back when I was playing. Been a long time, partner.
Indeed it has. Gabbert shaking loose of Dante Corleone and scampers out of bounds. Their win last year against Cincinnati at Nippert was the first win in a long time. First since 2005 that the victory bell came back to Oxford. They want to keep it here. Down 2 scores and 11.5 minutes and counting down left in the ball game. Gabbert throws a dart and connects with Reggie Virgil out towards midfield for a first down.
Yeah, he actually has a lot of time here, is able to have great protection. And when he's got protection, he's able to sit back there, set his feet, and deliver a strike. I mean, it's zone coverage, but Virgil sits right down between 3 defenders, and that's an easy throw for Gabbert. He sees him right in front of him, and now they're on the move. 50-yard line, moving inside Bearcat territory.
He's completed nearly 70% of his passes today for 245 yards. How about another? This goes to Jack Coldiron.
I think they're sort of stealing a little bit of something out of the playbook from the Bearcats offense, because they have been taking everything that Miami's defense has given them, and on this drive, you know, Bearcats playing top down and allowing some cushion underneath.
One touchdown today thrown by Gabbert. One interception that came early in the game in the red zone. Quick throw to McDonald. Good blocking. And McDonald moves the sticks. That was Andre Johnson out on the edge, who this coaching staff has loved coming over from Arizona State. Does a little bit of everything on the outside. Some trickeration. Back to Gabbert. No throw there, but he picks up yardage anyway with his feet.
That's a veteran move by Gabbert. When a trick play like that happens, so many times does a quarterback or wide receiver, doesn't matter who it is, they try to make the play. And Gabbert saw that it was double covered down the field. Really well done by Cincinnati to stay with it. Double coverage on the outside, and there's nowhere to go, so Gabbert just takes off and picks up about 5 yards.
Good.
Very
on this
smart.
Cincinnati secondary with 8 new players to stay home, even with all the action in the backfield.
Yeah, great point. Excellent discipline.
Gabbert flushed out and has to sail it out of bounds. 3rd and 5 ensuing for this Miami offense. And these are 4-down territories for sure, don't you think?
Absolutely. I also think that, you know, this is a passing down, 3rd and 5. But like, if Gabbert doesn't have something open, just take off and go. This is where your quarterback has to get you those like 1 to 2 first downs a game with his legs. It's on Gabbert here.
In his 2nd game back since that October 2023 leg injury. 3rd and 5. Gets it with the arm, and it's Kevin Davis, the sure-handed running back, with the first down.
Again, everything just getting beyond the sticks, around the sticks, settling down, and Gabbert's able to make an easy throw and convert that 3rd down and give him a chance here approaching the red zone. And again, Matt, if they get a score, and you got to feel pretty good about your defense potentially giving the football back to your offense just down 7 points. It's assuming a lot, by the way.
Gabbert with time, looking to the end zone. Almost caught, but well defended, and then a late flag comes in. Yeah, as it was Derek Canteen on the coverage.
I don't even know if it was a late flag. I think the official's trying to get it out of his pocket because there was so much contact. It was blatant.
Defense, number 10, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, it's such an easy call. And that's Canteen just trying to make a play, and he understands that, you know, it's not the NFL.
But it makes it the 5th first down of this drive for Cincinnati. They had 7 in the game prior to this drive. And now 1st and goal from inside the 10. Dylan Downing in the backfield with Brett Gabbert. 2-touchdown deficit for Miami.
Smart play by Gabbert. Nothing open. And those are the decisions that you have to take as a 60-year quarterback with all the experience you have. Listen, you're down here. You've got to get a touchdown. You turn the ball over, the game's probably over.
Gabbert, corner of the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown. Cade McDonald brings Miami right back in it with 8 minutes to go. And Gabbert wants to go for 2.
This is Chuck Martin going full analytics on Cincinnati.
And really no reason not to go for 2 right here if you're Miami, right?
Well, I mean, what it does is if you convert this, it puts tremendous pressure on Cincinnati because you know if you can get the ball back, a touchdown and extra point is going to win you the ball game. And it doesn't lose you the game because you're still only down 8.
11 plays, 75 yards in 5 minutes. And now Miami will try to chip away at the deficit a little bit more, going for 2. Trickeration, the flip to McDonald. He is met in front of the end zone. What a play defensively by Cincinnati's Antoine Peak Jr. Hello.
So Miami responds. They get the touchdown on a long drive, and then McDonald, who catches the touchdown, is unable to convert the 2-point conversion, so we have an 8-point game.
New crib psychotic. I'm so iconic.
ESPN Plus is home for more than 50 MAC football games. Here are tonight's featured matchups. Akron hosting Colgate at 6 Eastern. Western Michigan hosting Bethune-Cookman, and then Eastern Michigan hosts Jacksonville State at 7. If you're a MAC fan, go to ESPNplus.com to sign up. Bearcats hanging on to an 8-point lead after the touchdown and missed 2-point conversion by Miami. Trying to bring the victory bell back to Cincinnati after losing it last season for the first time in 16 years. And we will have a return. Logan Wilson bringing it out just across the 20-yard line. Time now for our player check-in presented by Allstate. Brennan Sorsby in his first year as the starting quarterback at Cincinnati, transferring over from Indiana, has been efficient this afternoon. Still no interceptions on the year for Sorsby.
And that's the key. Take care of the ball. You know, he's not thrown for 300 yards, but a lot of those completions are converting third downs, moving the sticks. You know, they've got 19 first downs in this game.
And many of their possessions have eaten up tremendous clock. Here is Corey Kiner, stopped at the line of scrimmage by Corbin Hondrew. Silas Walters, I believe, was in there as well.
So this is interesting. Cincinnati last week gave up that huge comeback to the Panthers. You wonder here in a situation like this where you're just trying to hold on. You don't want to get conservative if you're Cincinnati. You got to continue to try and keep the pressure on this Miami defense, which has given up 24 points, the most in a year.
Oh, that's a wide open catch. Joe Royer out across the 50 in a foot race. Royer inside the 20. House call. Cincinnati. Touchdown Bearcats. 80 yards on the catch and run. And a stunned crowd at Yager Stadium, but there is a flag.
Eligible receiver downfield, offense. Number 53, 5-yard penalty, take it down.
And it's all for naught.
Boy, Joe Royer is really unlucky in this game. That's the second touchdown that he has scored that has been taken off the board. There's the center. And, boy, I don't like that call.
Well, it is a massive call on Gavin Gerhardt,
Totally
negating an 80-yard touchdown.
I mean, whatever. By the letter of the law, I understand it. But that was so inconsequential to the play. I don't know.
Well, to your point, now Joe Royer has had 2 touchdowns wiped off the board. Remember, at the end of the first half, fumbled it into the back of the end zone for a touchback.
It'd be 38 points if you have those 2 plays, those 2 touchdowns. And so now because of that penalty, like Miami's got some serious life here. And he gets 2nd and long. Wow, what a huge call. I cannot believe how big that call was.
Massive. And a sigh of relief for Chuck Martin, who for a moment thought, how are we going to climb out of this hole? Evan Pryor comes back into the game for Cincinnati. His last touch went to the house, 60 yards. Sorsby fakes, spins out of trouble, and is finally brought down at the line of scrimmage by Adam Trick.
Well, and that's where the Red Hawks are at their best. When they can fly to the football, like Sorsby breaks a couple of tackles here, but because Miami continues to pursue the ball, like they swarm to Sorsby. At the end of this play, what, 1 tackle, 2 tackles, 3 tackles, and then they continue to run to the ball, and now 3rd and 10.
Well, hang on a second. Miami thinks it's 4th down. They brought the punt unit out.
Well, it is 4th down on the
near sideline.
Yeah, they're saying it's 4th down.
3rd. Now they just flipped it to 4th.
I am a little bit confused as well, partner. They're punting the ball. The scoreboard now says 4th down. Okay, there we go.
End over end punt to Cade McDonald, who waves for a fair catch. And so Miami and Brett Gabbert will have a chance with 5:20 to go 60+ yards and try to tie this game late in the 4th.
You know, and the other thing here too is you know, why you go for 2 on the last possession when you scored the touchdown. Even though you're down 8 points, there's still plenty of time. So even if you don't convert a 2-point conversion, if you're able to score another touchdown, you're still only down 2 points, and you've got a great kicker. But boy, that's a lot. That's a lot that has to happen.
Empty backfield for Gabbert.
This empty set has worked out well for them here in the 2nd half.
Gabbert, deep shot down the middle, and it's caught by Cade McDonald inside the Cincinnati 20, and he's wrestled out of bounds. Here come the Red Hawks. 50-yard reception.
When you see McDonald, if you're Gabbert, and you got that safety with that speed turn, he's out of position. And then McDonald, that was Logan Wilson, who was out of position, 13, by the way. And McDonald just goes up and makes a play. And those are tough to catch because you know you're wide open.
4:40 to go. 8-point deficit. Gabbert looking end zone. And it's caught, but incomplete. Jarred loose out of the hands of Cade McDonald. Logan Wilson was there on the coverage. Man, wouldn't that have been something from Cade McDonald?
It would have been 2 back-to-back plays and potentially 2 back-to-back possessions with a touchdown. I think his foot would have been in bounds. At least very close if he's able to come down with that.
Brett Gabbert has opened this game up 21 for 31 with 325 yards passing.
The other thing about this possession is because you're down 8, a field goal here doesn't hurt you.
Still a lot of time left in this game. Pressure off the edge. Gabbert, a leaping throw, ends up out of bounds, and it brings up 3rd and 10. Remember, Miami in the offseason lost their Lou Groza award-winning kicker Graham Nicholson to Alabama.
How'd they lose him?
Ask Chuck Martin.
There you go. He was very, very vocal about that early in preseason camp. Now, there's 2 sides to every story. Just say.
3rd and 10 for Gabbert. Zips it to Cold Iron. Tries to get a few more yards with the dive, but it will bring up 4th down and 4. So, do you go for it here?
I kick this.
Looks like they're going to keep Gabbert on the field.
I mean, if you go for this and you don't get it, you're still down 1 score, okay? So that's fine, but you still have to get a 2-point conversion. I would take the 3, cut it to 5, and trust your defense. You have all of your timeouts. Oh, everything I said could go out the window here.
Gavin on 4th down. Look into the end zone, and it's broken up. But here comes a flag late from the 10-yard line. Line judge Dab Bush tossing the flag onto the field.
I didn't see a whole lot from up here. The officials are discussing it. I mean, this is a game-changing call.
There is no foul for defensive pass interference. First down, Cincinnati.
And now Chuck Martin is irate after the flag is picked up. So it is Cincinnati ball, and great defense by Jordan Young.
That is just, you know, it's a tough break for Miami because you think you're getting a 1st and goal. I don't see anything there that warrants a penalty.
Well, remember, there was a big play a couple of minutes ago. They got wiped off the board by a flag that Scott Satterfield didn't love. The 80-yard touchdown to Joe Royer with their center, Gavin Gerhardt, as an ineligible receiver downfield. This one is wiped off in their favor, and they get the football back inside the 15 with 3:43 to go. Now Miami does have all 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute timeout. Kiner shaking loose. Kiner had his knee down, and Eli Blakey will be credited with the tackle. But that's 4 yards that really came out of nothing for Kiner.
Yeah, I mean, he does the old, like, Le'Veon Bell, as he kind of does the jump cut. But the patience, I think, allowed the defense to sort of overrun, then he bounces outside. If he doesn't drop that knee to the ground, it's probably a 1st down.
First time out of the half taken by Chuck Martin.
Wouldn't it feel a lot different if you were down 5 points now if you're Miami?
It would, because a touchdown potentially puts you in a game-winning situation. Instead, now you not only need a touchdown, but a 2-point conversion, which they were unsuccessful at on their last scoring drive.
And what it would have done for you is, you know, if you do end up scoring, you take the lead by 1, you go for 2, then you all of a sudden may have a field goal lead. But here we go, 2nd and 6. Miami's defense has to bow up.
One of the best defenses in the country last year. Back to Kiner. Tackled shy of the sticks, but this will bring up 3rd and very short for the Bearcats.
Yeah, and you can't burn a timeout here because the odds are they're going to pick this up. How gutsy does Satterfield want to be here? Because you're going to have every Miami defender within like 7 yards of the box. If Cincinnati decides to take a chance here, look at that. You have nobody deeper than 5 yards.
They hand it off anyway. Kiner still on his feet. There he goes. In a foot race. And out across the 50 plus some more. Tacking it on at the end of an excellent drive into plus territory. And for a moment, it looked like Miami had him stopped behind the line.
It did. I mean, Salopek is in the backfield, and he just runs right through him, and then down the field, you hit him with the stiff arm, and you're trying, you know, everything. Evans is just doing anything he can to get the 5'9", 215-pound back on the ground. So, let's see. You do get the 2-minute timeout here, which they're gonna wait on, as the play clock is just about half a second ahead of the game clock.
40-yard run extends the drive for Cincinnati. Kiner with 119 yards rushing. Cincinnati with a chance to end it with 2 minutes left.
College Football Playoff begins December 20th on ESPN.
That's how I get by.
Well, with the new 12-team playoff, Miami was hoping they might be in that conversation. They're on the wrong end of this score here against Cincinnati, who has had some explosive plays in the second half. None bigger maybe than that 40-yard run by Corey Kiner, who gets it again on first down. And still this year has not had a rushing attempt go for negative yardage. That is why he is in Mr. Fox's foxhole.
We want tough guys who are physical and do things like Corey Kiner. Breaking tackles, just absolutely running like a grown man. And that's Salopek, who, I don't know if there's many running backs in the country can do that to him and force him to miss the tackle. And then still, how many? 5 guys to get him on the ground, like 40 yards down the field? Incredible. Incredible job by Corey Kiner. And there's a reason why, you know, he's going to be a problem for folks in the Big 12 this year. And Chuck Martin even told us this week, this will be the best back most likely they face all year long. Man, you see this kid, the transfer from LSU, is really making an impact for this offense.
Came into the day averaging 7.5 yards per carry, one of the highest clips in the country. And we wondered at the end of the first half, after which he had only 7 carries, would they feed him the ball more? The answer to that has been unequivocally yes, and it has been a huge success for Scott Satterfield. 2nd and 9. Kiner again for positive yardage. And now will Miami burn their final timeout?
Have to.
Charge timeout.
This is around the area of the field where we saw place kicker Nathan Hawks drill a 55-yarder in the first quarter for Cincinnati. And that was his first kick as the place kicker for Cincinnati. Took over the starting job from Carter Brown this week during a kicking competition set up by Scott Satterfield. So they are well within his range. That kick would have been good from 60 plus.
Hey, Matt, there's a slight tailwind here. It's not much, but this is an absolutely perfect day.
And again, if he's able to hit a field goal, we're assuming a lot here. How big was that decision to go for it on 4th and 4 by Miami on their last possession rather than kicking the field goal to make it a 5-point game?
Well, the way you lay it out, it's huge, but you're still a 55-yard field goal or whatever away, and they have a 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 here to end the game. But to your point, if they do and make an 11-point game, it's going to be absolutely huge. And the 2 decisions by the Miami staff, Chuck Martin, to go for 2 and then not take the 3 points could become vital.
3rd and 7 on the ground. Kiner breaking tackles. Kiner still going. And he gains 4 to bring up 4th and about 3.5 to 4 yards. What does Scott Satterfield do here?
You weigh, you know, the odds here. You feel like the kicker can make 2 50-plus yard kicks in a game?
Wind is swirling a little bit.
They're going to think about this and take a timeout.
Down to a minute and then make a decision, calling one of their 3 timeouts remaining. None for Miami.
It's a 49-yard kick. I mean, the way that kid kicked it on the last one. Nathan Hawks was good from 65.
Charge timeout. Cincinnati.
This was in the first quarter, going in the same direction. And you were right, Dustin. This would have been good from 65 potentially.
I mean, it carried right through the uprights, and that was every bit of 55 yards, you know, where it was lined up. So he's got the leg. Get you a little Gatorade. I think he's going to give it an opportunity. I think Coach Satterfield's made his call. And now here's the deal. If they don't make this kick, Miami's got about 55 yards to go try and tie this ball game up.
Without any timeouts. For last year, Miami blocked the game-winning kick from Cincinnati at the end of regulation to force OT. Can they come up with some magic here? An even 50-yard attempt for the second-year Division III transfer Nathan Hawks. Up and away.
Nailed it.
Wow. 2 from 50 plus, and that might do it here in Oxford.
I don't think there's a mic to it, buddy. 11 point game with 1 minute.
I think Scott Satterfield has found his kicker. This was a bomb.
All right, so for Miami, you gotta probably house this kickoff return, and then get an onside kick, and then get it in field goal range, and go to overtime. Simple, right?
Scott Satterfield jacked up after losing the victory bell for the first time since 2005 on their home field, no less, a season ago. And after the loss to Pittsburgh, the leadership in his locker room stood up, galvanized the team, and said, we move on to Miami, which is a must-win game. That's the way they viewed it coming in, and they have played that way, particularly in the second half.
Well, now we can have the hindsight of Miami not kicking the field goal on the last possession, 4th and 4. They go for it, don't convert, and then here you are. I mean, because of that, you could have it be still an 8-point game, and there's life. But now it's 11 because you decide to go for it. And again, you get that. It's a whole different deal.
Returnable on a hop by Kevin Davis. Gets it out to about the 24-yard line. 54 seconds left for Brett Gabbert. Really less than that, because you need 2 scores here to get back into this game.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much going to throw the ball up on the outside to their top target, McDonald, because he has made so many big plays in this game. And the worst case is if you've got some coverage one-on-one on the outside, there's a decent chance you may draw an interference flag and stop the clock, move the chains 15 yards.
Gabbert cannot take a sack, being chased by Eric Phillips. Hits his man Javon Tracy on the edge to get out of bounds, and a gain of 8.
And you're right, Phillips was bearing down on Gabbert and somehow is able to escape off to his left. I mean, perfect play. It only takes about, what, 8 seconds off the clock, and you pick up 7 yards, and you stop it because you get out of bounds.
And now Brett Gabbert is coming out of the game. Henry Hessen comes in, the backup quarterback. Gabbert visibly upset after being met by Chuck Martin. Hessen hits Reggie Virgil. Did he get out of bounds?
He did.
He did. And a first down to move the sticks. Is this a decision to keep Gabbert healthy late in the game? Is that why he's being pulled out here by Chuck Martin? Hessen a long throw and skipped it, looking for Javon Tracy.
You know, I think it's a good point by you. You're down 11. Like, the odds of getting back in the game are very slim, and you know Cincinnati's going to be, you know, rushing heavy on the quarterback and trying to get him on the ground. I guess I can see it, but I also understand Gabbert's frustration because he's come back for his 6th year, and like, you want to be out there with your guys. But again, we don't know exactly why he's out of the game. Just want to make that clear.
This is a Miami team that is picked to repeat as MAC champion. They won it last year after Gabbert was injured in the late October game against Toledo, missed the final 6 games of the season, returning for his 6th year of eligibility. But it doesn't look like he'll maintain possession of the victory bell. Hessen, a jump pass underneath to Davis. First down on an 11-yard gain. The clock will stop momentarily. So many pivotal points, Dustin, throughout the course of this game. Going for it on the 2-point conversion for Miami, choosing to go for it on 4th down. The interception in the red zone on their first drive of the game, which went 6 yards. 6 plays, 62 yards. Like any good rivalry game, lots of swings of momentum, and Cincinnati just had the last punch.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati had 2 touchdowns pulled off the board, too. And that allowed Miami to sort of stay in this game. And they had a chance. They've had many chances.
Hessen will run for it and slides down. Did he get the first?
That's
no,
going to be the
they're going to mark it short. And Cincinnati traveling to Yager Stadium and winning back the victory bell in the 128th meeting. A revenge game for Cincinnati, losing the bell last year on their home field for the first time since 2005, and they are rushing to get the bell back into their possession. You think this means something to these two programs?
In what could be the last on-campus battle for who knows how long. But it's now 61 and 60 and 7 all time.
There is one more meeting between these teams on the books, 2026 at Paycor Stadium. And then fans are hoping they will find a way to renew it. But as of yet, nothing on the schedule past 2026. And the bell is traveling 30 miles back to Cincinnati. That'll be a fun bus ride back to the Queen City.
Well, listen, this was a huge win for the Bearcats, you know, to get back on track. You know, they feel like they should be 3-0, probably should be 3-0. But nonetheless, you know, for Miami, everything's still ahead of you. You haven't even started conference play yet. You've got to go to Notre Dame next week. That's a big one for Coach Martin, who has to go up against his old squad where he spent a lot of time. And for Miami, I mean, listen, you've got, or excuse me, for Cincinnati, Houston, that's a winnable game. Texas Tech, I mean, their offense is ridiculous. But again, it doesn't matter. Huge win for the Bearcats in what is an awesome rivalry that we hope continues.
27-16 in favor of Cincinnati in the 128th meeting for the battle for the victory bell. We had a little bit of everything in this game, and Brennan Sorsby, the legend, grows in his 3rd career start in a Cincinnati uniform, bringing the bell back to Cincinnati. Our final score, Cincy 27, Miami 16.